Welcome to the Week 6 college football power rankings. They are unlike ordinary rankings because the word power is right there in the title. Let's start at the top. Alabama, a workmanlike effort over Ole Miss. They were actually down for the first time in almost a year, but they won easily. They stay number one. Oregon struggled in the first half against Washington State, but piled on with the help of a defensive effort that really has been quite good in Eugene, but this time in Seattle over Washington State. Oregon stays at number 2. Florida State, a so-so win, but they don't turn the ball over. E.J. Manuel's efficient. The defense is quite good. They just don't pull away from a South Florida team that lost to, here it comes, Ball State. So Florida State at number 3. Keep an eye on those first halves a little slow. Georgia at number 4, ahead of LSU in some of the polls that the professionals are working on. But Georgia, a nice win over Tennessee. Still have some concerns about the defense, but with the new guys in the secondary shaking off some rust, I talk about Bakari Rambo and Alec Ogletree. Expect Georgia to take strides forward, especially if they have South Carolina this week, which they do. It's going to be a tough game, but if Georgia is able to take down South Carolina on the road, there's a case to be made that they're shooting up to number 3. Huge SEC matchup this week. LSU, sloppy game against Towson this week. They're playing down to their opponents. Les Miles will be the first one to tell you that, other than when they really throttled Washington. But LSU with the opportunity to go up in the power rankings. They do have Florida, who checks in at number 8 in the power rankings. So if they can go on the road to Gainesville and beat Florida, certainly they will be 4, 3, even 2 this week, depending on the performance, but LSU does have some issues to work out on the offensive side of the ball. South Carolina, slow start against Kentucky, but they're as complete and surprisingly so as any team in the SEC, with Connor Shaw not throwing incomplete passes. That seems like a positive thing. Defensively, they're getting to be as salty as they've been these past couple of years. Jadeveon Clowney is a scary man. I don't know if there's any other words to describe him. Kansas State, the win over Miami, the absolute bloodbath that was the Kansas State-Miami game a few weeks ago, is looking even better because Kansas State is really good, and Miami is apparently decent enough. So good for Kansas State. The big road win against Oklahoma speaks volumes about K-State. Florida, I have higher than a certain pollsters, whatever, but the Texas A&M win on the road in College Station now looks even better for the Gators. They host LSU this week. If they can take down LSU, up for the Gators. Texas struggled defensively, which is a weird thing to say, considering that was the perceived strength of the team going into the season. But lucky for them, David Ash, quite good, quite efficient, a top 3 perhaps Big 12 quarterback. They have West Virginia this weekend. An impressive showing in Austin means they're moving up. All sorts of blood in the top 15 this week. But Notre Dame, the reason why they're as low as they are here, offensively, they're below average. They've beaten decent teams in Michigan State and Michigan, but as the schedule opens up, they have Miami this week. Can they keep up? If Miami is throwing and scoring points, it's a huge concern for Notre Dame at this point, who are unable to move the ball consistently, but being led by defense and field position is not a bad place to be. USC is completely dependent on offensive line play as for success this year. They're probably a top 8 team in college football at this point, but because of the line play, hard to put them any higher at this point. They have Utah. It should be easy work this Thursday night. West Virginia, a little lower than a lot of people have them, but you give up 63 points. I don't care how many times the other team has the ball. It's hard to take you seriously as anything higher than around a top 12 team. But again, if they go into Austin and win a huge Big 12 road game, they're moving up. I'm never going to do that again. Also, Ohio State, another team with a decent enough schedule early on, but they're winning sloppy, especially this week. It's a win. It's a survive and advance situation. Hard to have them any higher than this until we see what they're able to do. Lucky for the Buckeyes, they do have Nebraska at home this week. We will learn a lot more about Ohio State and whether or not they can keep up offensively with the Nebraska team, who has been quite good moving the ball. Clemson, undervalued. They go on the road to Florida State and lose. A lot of teams are going to do that. That doesn't make them any worse a team. They're around 17, 19, somewhere like that. AP and coaches poll. I like Clemson a lot offensively. They were good against Boston College, consistent throughout that game. They have the playmakers. Things are only going to get stronger for Clemson. And finally, Oregon State, 3 games, Wisconsin, UCLA, Arizona. They stop the run. They get impressive performances from Sean Mannion, the quarterback. They're a good team. The schedule works out pretty ideally. No USC. They have Oregon at home with the Civil War to end the season. Look for Oregon State. I don't know how much higher they're going to get, but as teams start beating each other up, Oregon State's going to keep on moving up. So, who did I leave out? Who do you agree with? Who do you disagree with? Let us know what you think is going to happen in the games this weekend. We have Georgia, South Carolina, LSU, and Florida, and of course, West Virginia, Texas among these teams. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll see you soon.